Alligator was in the floor. All right. Welcome and/or welcome back to the channel. My name is Sarah. I am now regretting pulling my hair down. It's hot. I might pull it back up, but we'll see. This is a couple of weeks worth of Friday reads. 2, I think. Yeah, another 2-weeker. Last weekend, I was on a live show for the Dragon Bone Chair. If you haven't checked that out, I strongly recommend you do so. I believe I linked it on a community post. If I haven't linked it recently, I will link it again if you are interested, and you can check it out there. We're in a slightly different angle today because it's feeling loosey-goosey. Also, if you hear some banging, which I am also hearing, I do apologize. My toddler, actually, you know what? She's 5. She's not a toddler. My small child is upstairs banging around, so that's happening. All right, let's get into the books that I've read this week. So to top it off, let's go with the obvious one. I read Ted Williams' The Dragon Bone Chair for the 3 Swords along with Aaron and all the other folks. I was on the higher end of the spectrum in that I really loved this, but I will be more than generous and very acknowledging of the fact that it's not gonna be for everybody. It's definitely not. It's very classic Sword in the Stone, sword and sorcery type of fantasy, and if that's not your thing, it's not some people's thing, it's fine. It's not gonna work for you, so skip it if it's not. But if you like that, 100% do recommend. Fantastic. Please watch the live show. This is, if you just want to skip it and want the bare bones, this is about Simon, who is a kitchen boy, and he is thrust into the machinations, the politics, and the magic of Austin Ard when the great King John dies and he leaves his kingdom to one of his sons. But his son has an untrustworthy advisor, and there are dark things afoot, things happening. And like I said, Simon gets caught up in that, and things get a little drawn out, maybe? Slow, lots of politics. This has one of those classic, he comes from the north tropes. He goes on a journey, and at the end we find ourselves seeking some magic swords, which, I mean, if you can't tell from the cover, there you go. So again, I loved it. I gave it a 4.5. Much to, I guess, I heard at least one person a little surprised when I said that, but I did. I gave it a 4.5. I was on the higher end. But I have also read that before. I grew up reading that Sword in the Stone, sword and sorcery stuff at the public library. So that was one of the books that I read as a very young teen, maybe even before then. So it's very nostalgic to me. It is a reread. So there you go. That's what you're going to do with that. Another book that I don't have a lot of thoughts about is Falling Embers by Catherine Cowles. I do love Catherine Cowles' writing. It is very easy for me to get into. It flows. I read them quickly. But this one didn't work for me. I don't know. Oh, some of my tappies. I can't tell you why exactly, but I think it is because I could not relate to Hadley, our female main character in this. She was a thrill chaser, an adrenaline junkie. She is out to live her life. She's riding dirt bikes down a mountain. She's, doing these wild and crazy things. That is not my life. Her romantic interest, Calder is much more to my speed in that I'm very cautious. I try to be very careful. I am not an adrenaline junkie. I don't ride roller coasters. If that gives you an indication, that's not for me. I like the keeping my feet on the ground, like the dwarves in WoW used to say, keep your feet on the ground. That's me. I want to do that. Thank you. So I just could not get on with her. Also, the relationship with a certain parental figure in this was a little too real and relevant and close to home for me, so it was a little bit hard to read. I will keep this because it's Catherine Cowles and I love Catherine Cowles, but this is probably my least favorite of her books that I have read, so there you go. No real summaries needed. This one didn't much have a plot, right? So these are all romantic suspense. Hadley, thrill seeker. Calder, I keep wanting to say Cadley or something else. Calder is not. He is the father of twins. His ex-wife almost killed his daughters, and since then he's been very, very careful, very conservative in all of his actions. He stays close to home. He doesn't do wild and crazy things. And the two used to be best friends and now are not, but they still work together, and it is their coming back together. I didn't, like I said, have a whole lot of thoughts on it, really. It was a quick read, but it wasn't one I don't think I necessarily enjoyed, so Now, let's see. Another fantasy that I read, which is a lit RPG. I finished Wraithwood Botanist, like I said I would. This is by Little Lynx. This is from Atheon Books. I absolutely love that cover. This is about a young girl. Young girl? No. She is, I think, graduated college, or she was about to graduate college. The Earth is destroyed, and she is sent to this planet. Now, the Earth is destroyed, and the system that falls down to quote-unquote save humanity forces humanity and all its universal occupants into one of two paths. You either go on the path to godhood, which is a violent combative path. You're competing against each other and the world. It's a live or die thing. You fight to become ascend to godhood, or you die on the way. Or you can take the peaceful path, the path of the crafter. But crafters are pretty much abused and looked down on and treated like trash. So she doesn't want to be a crafter, but she also doesn't want to fight and mess with people. She wants to stay in her home base, wherever she finds home, and she wants to study plants and she wants to hang out with her cat. That's all she wants to do. So she makes a deal with the system AI, kind of a loophole, and says, put me where I can be around plants. And he's like, that's the most dangerous place I can put you. If you really want to take the botanist class, it's super dangerous, but I can. She goes, I'll do it. I will do it, as long as it lets me do what I want to do. So she ends up dropped level 1 on a level 500 plant. And it goes from there. She's in this forest that is incredibly dangerous. It is cordoned off at all times, exception of one time a year when people go in to look for rare ingredients and they go in huge parties. She is there by herself. And it's her surviving. We get some side chapters from a different fella. It's not from his point of view, but it's about him, and he is beast tamer class. And I believe he's going to be linked to her. He's going to be maybe bringing her things, or he comes to help her. Her name is Mira. That's it. And she has a cat who I cannot remember the name of now. It's been a week or two since I finished it. Let's see. What was the little cat's name? I absolutely loved him. He is so cute. Klein. His name is Klein. He doesn't speak. It's not like Donut where he has sentience. He does have a class and combat abilities, but he is just still a cat who happens to now understand common, I think is what they called it, but English. And they travel together. That's him right down there. He's very cute. He gets bigger, I think, in the second book, because the cover for the second book looks fantastic and he looks a little bigger. To be fair, he did kind of evolve at the end of this, but this was really good. If you like lit RPG, I really liked it. I liked the focus on plants. There were some real world plants and plant facts, but she also, made stuff up. Let's see. The last two that I read. This one is a mystery. It is The Potency of Ungovernable Impulses by Malka Older, book 3 in the Mosa and Pletty. I'm trying to remember that without looking at it. Series. I love this series. I truly, truly love this series. This is set on the on and in the rings of Jupiter. Humanity has destroyed effectively Earth, and now we are on Jupiter. And this is Mosa and Paletti. Mosa is an investigator for the type of governing police force, and Paletti is a scholar. And I got that backwards because I'm real bad at getting that backwards. Paletti, I'm pretty sure, is the scholar. Yes. Yeah. Paletti is a scholar. Paletti is a scholar of classics, so she studies old Earth stuff. I think hers is ecology and how plants and everything interacted on Earth. The ultimate goal of this settlement in Jupiter is to maybe rehabilitate Earth, but they don't know if they'll ever be able to do it. This third book, and these books all play with Sherlockian tropes, so this is like a Sherlock and Holmes sort of situation. This third book plays with I believe it is the Hound of Baskerville, where Watson goes off and investigates this thing on his own, and Holmes is mostly absent, but surprise, surprise, he's not really absent. If you're familiar, you'll know. That's what this plays with. It does touch on and talk about a few tropes that are common in the Sherlock canon, like his depressive episodes and stuff like that. Mosa has those as well, and they approach and talk about that, especially considering as how Paletti and Mosa are in a romantic relationship as well, so it's that's toxic, but also there is this sort of trust that needs to be established between them. And, they kind of talk it out towards the end. But the focus of this is the mystery of a scholar who is being besmirched. Their name is being dragged through the mud. They're being slandered. And their cousin, who is an old friend of Pletty, says, hey, come help us. You were friends with us. Come help us figure this out. So Pletty agrees. Mosa is in a depressive episode and does not come. And it is that mystery. This is a little bit longer than the other ones. I absolutely loved this. We really focused in on one of the other colleges on the Jupiter rings here, and we got a lot of really interesting characters as well. I thought as well that this one really focused and put a heavier touch on the language and how the language has kind of evolved. It was subtle. It didn't speak to it directly, but the language used really made you think about it. She shows a lot of the different evolution of language in the casual conversations and what people say and do, and I find it fascinating to read that in these. So yes, I highly recommend this. These are kind of dense, so if you're looking for like a denser science fiction, this will work. If you're looking for a lighter science fiction, this will not work. But if you're willing to give it a try, I very much recommend picking this series up. It's fantastic. The other two are shorter than this one, so they are easy short reads. And I have heard that the audiobooks are fantastic. So do with that as you will. And the last thing that I believe I have finished, let me think. Oh, no, there's one more. I will talk about that after this one. But the thing I finished this morning, I was going to pull that out, but I don't need to yet, is a Danmei, 1,000 Autumns by Ming Zishi. I know I'm going to say these names wrong. I do apologize. I don't know Chinese. If these were Japanese, I could probably do it a little better, but I haven't looked up the pronunciations yet for the Chinese names. So this is about a grandmaster of a Buddhist sect who is he's in a duel. He falls from the top of this mountain peak, and he falls in front of the grandmaster of a demonic sect, and when he falls, it almost kills him. It dang well should have. Like, it should have killed him. The only thing that saved him was the fact that he has some, like, extreme cultivation going on. So the grandmaster and his disciple carry him off and nurse him back to health. And when he comes back to health, he is very weak. He is very frail. His name is Shin Quan. I do believe Shin Kuo. I'll try to put the names on the screen so somebody who speaks Chinese knows what I'm saying. He's very weak, he's very frail, and he is mostly blind. On some days, he can see pretty good. And by pretty good, I mean shapes and colors, but other times it's completely black. And the Grandmaster Yan Wuxi, I just refer to him as Yan every time I talk to my best friend. He's just, up to mischief. This man is the definition of a black cat who just likes to watch the world burn. Like, I wish I could explain to you the amount of, like, just mischievousness and chaos that this man embodies. So, Jan believes that people and men, women, like, the root of humanity is evil. If left to humanity's own devices, everyone will turn to evil. Where Shin believes that everyone at their root is good. And it is the two of them, like, kind of balancing each other out and not fighting it out, but it's this weird back and forth, right? Shin does eventually recover his memories. He stays frail throughout the whole book, though, and he stays mostly blind. And Jan ends up, like, taking him around and just being a black cat. He's the guy that stands in the corner and pushes the water bottle over just to see what happens. And by pushes the water bottle over, I mean at one point he takes a profound one-of-a-kind artifact, reads it out loud, or has Shin read it out loud, and then burns it just to see what happens. Like, the man is a little off his rocker, and I loved it. I finished it this morning. I was reading this with one of my best friends. She finished it yesterday, and she goes, I'm good to keep reading if you are. And I was like, yeah. She even bought me a digital copy because she's an angel, so I'll probably report back on the second book next week. But this is great. Really loved it. There's a lot of politicking in this that I didn't expect. It's almost entirely politicking. We get the two of them traveling together, but they're mostly discussing and going on about politics as well. So, fantastic. 1,000 Autumns is really good so far. I think it's finished. There's 5 volumes from what we've seen. So, most likely we'll try to just binge through that with her because she does binge through series. I don't. I'm trying to fix that. I'm trying to be better about my series. So, if she'll read through read through it with me, I'm going to be reading through it. And the last thing, I almost forgot, I did reread How to Stop a Demon King in 10 Easy Steps by Seth Rowe. Let me go find the indie copy, one moment. How to Defeat a Demon King in 10 Easy Steps by Andrew Rowe. It's not Seth. Seth Ring is the farmer books. Seth Rowe. So this is the indie edition. I have the e-arc of the new edition that's being published by Saga Press, because I love Saga Press, and they allowed me to read that so nicely on NetGalley. If you're interested, you can go request it. And this is about, and I've talked about this before, so you can skip if you've heard me talk about this before. This is taking the spoof, taking the poo at a Legend of Zelda narrative. We have our hero is a girl named Yui Shaw, and she is going to save the world because for whatever reason the cycle of hero demon king has been broken, and the demon king has been around for a lot longer than he should. He's doing some stuff he probably shouldn't be doing, and she's like, you know what, I'm gonna do something about that. I'm gonna go get that hero sword and I'm gonna stop him because I don't know where the hero's at. And so she does that, but she does that in an unconventional way. She is not a hero class. She is not a mage of any kind. She is a mage, but not of a combat kind. She is a bag mage. Her class is in bags. She has a big inventory, and she can manage it at will, and it is about her getting the hero sword and visiting the temples and finding the Demon King and defeating him. And now there is all kinds of references to Zelda, like here you can see in this artwork she has a, let's see if it'll focus, she has her green garb on. Here is a better close-up right there. Yep. It's a running joke that the green outfit is a requirement, and at one point she makes the comment of, why is the color of my clothes important? And one of our side characters, who I love, he is a fashionista. I think he actually has a level in fashionista. He's like, it's just important, okay? So she does end up with a green outfit. There are fairies. So, you know, if you love Zelda, I cannot recommend this enough. The new edition is very pretty with straight edges and lovely artwork on it. So I'll see if I can put a picture here. Definitely pick it up, try it out. It comes out, I think, in October or November. I will definitely be getting a published copy to go with my indie copy. So that's everything that I have read. I have tried to keep this short. I haven't been reading that much, truthfully, and I know that's a lot for some people, what I just talked about, but for me, that's not a lot. Most of my time was in the Dragon Bone chair because it is dense, and I was reading it slowly and closely so that we could talk about it, and I absolutely loved doing that, so please watch that live show. Tomorrow, I anticipate I will have at least 6 to 8 hours of reading time. I am getting a tattoo on my right arm up here, and there's a chance it's going to be fairly large. I don't know yet because I want a contest, and it's with my usual artist, and he is slow but careful, and so I will be there for a while, and I'm going to take my Kindle. I'm just going to read. So what I will try to finish while I am there getting tattooed is Forbidden Alchemy by Stacey McEwen. I have this on Kindle as well. This is really fun so far. I am about 20% through this, and this is going to be like a class revolution sort of thing. We have 2 characters, both of which are from the Outer Rim. They're from poor towns and settlements, and they go into the 12-year-old ceremony. That said that weird. They go in when they are 12 years old for a ceremony to determine if they have magic. And if they have magic, they are moved up from the lower class of crafter to the artisans. Artisans use magic, but they find out at this ceremony a secret that they aren't supposed to know, and it is going to trigger a big change in the way the world works and operates, and it's going to center around these 2 kids. So I have started this. I'm about 20% of the way through it, and I am very much enjoying it, and it reads very quickly. The chapters are very short, and there's little mixed media almost inside, so we get little articles from around the world of like news from the edge, like, you know, a union has started, rumors of this ceremony being a fraud have started, so we're getting these cool like news articles in between the chapters about our characters. So I'm reading that. As I mentioned, I am also getting ready to start the second 1,000 Autumns. I'll see if I can put But the cover here, it's very cute. I'm about to say cute. It's not cute. It's gorgeous. These covers are all gorgeous because the Danmei covers are all gorgeous. I don't know that I've ever seen one that Seven Seas has missed on. So that is being read with my bestie. Let me check my Kindle. I did get a few arcs, even though I haven't been a good reviewer and been turning things in again because I've been focused in on Dragonbone Chair the past week and a half. I got the new S.T. Gibson, which is Savage Blooms. Truthfully, just requested it because it's S.T. Gibson, and I love S.T. Gibson. What else came in? By the way, speaking of Thousand Autumns and books, there are a few Danmei now that are in KU, so if you are interested in it, I would recommend trying it out. Keep in mind, it is translated from Chinese. It's a little dense, it's a little wordy, it's oftentimes very political, and you're going to be reading a lot about like cultivation techniques. They're going to be using a lot of titles and suffixes that are not going to be very familiar to the Western reader. So just go in knowing that. Go slow. A lot of these have glossaries. Thousand Autumns does have footnotes. In fact, it has footnotes and a glossary in the back that explains a lot of what it's got in it and it's talking about. I still don't know that I would recommend it for a starter volume. I think I would probably recommend Grandmaster no Heaven Official's Blessing, or if you're somebody who enjoys comedic books, funny books, the Scum Villains the Scum Villains Self-Saving System. I think that's what it's called. I've read the first. Anyway, that was the first Danmei I read, and that was a great introduction for me. So there's that. I think Thousand Autumns is in KU, Remnants of Filth is in KU, which I haven't read yet, and I think Scum Villain is. If it's not, keep an eye on it. I think they're moving books in and out of KU to, change up what you can try. I got the new Kin Liu e-arc, All That We See or Seem. Very excited for that. I also got, Birth of a Dynasty by Chinaza Badu. Has a very interesting cover, and that one sounds fascinating. I'm not giving summaries on these because I don't want to mess the summaries up. Look them up if you're interested, otherwise I will be talking about them soon. The Red Winter by Cameron Sullivan also came in as well. And I think that is all of the e-arcs that I got since last... Pearl City by Julie V. and Ken Babel. Listen, I've read the first 2 books in this series and I still don't know how to say his last name. This is the not Jade City, but these books. The cover looks like all the others. It's the 3rd book in a series. I cannot remember the series. Pearl City is this one. There was something with a gate. Anyway, let's say urban fantasy, but set with Chinese folklore. Very good. Really like it. And that's the 3rd and maybe last book. That is everything, yes, that has come in. Now, I need to be reading A Graveyard for Heroes, which is the 2nd Michael book in the Dreams of Dust and Steel series. So I will be reading probably that, the Stacey McEwen, A Forbidden Alchemy, and the 2nd Thousand Autumns. So hopefully, those are 3 of the things that I'll come back to talk to you about next week. And that is it for today. I am going to wrap this up. Yesterday was my birthday, and we're still kind of doing a few little things. I'm going to go to the used bookstore this evening and take a bunch of books in. Oh, no, I forgot to mention. I went to a used bookstore yesterday. Oh, man. Okay, hold on. I will insert some footage here if I can. We went to a beautiful little used bookstore hour and a half away from me called White Pine Books in White Pine, Tennessee. Absolutely loved it there. They had fantastic prices. The store itself was beautiful and fun. My daughter and husband had a good time, and everybody there was super nice. And I got some books, so real quickly gonna run through those. I have The Painter Knight by Fiona Patton. There's a giant sticker on the cover, but it's got a fantastic cover. I love this artwork. I do not know who this artist is, but they did a lot of the old school Daw books, and I love them. This is the 2nd book in a series, and I plan to get a copy of the first one. I actually have it picked out on Pango Books. I'm just waiting for one of my Pango orders to finalize through and get paid so I can buy it. It is about a man protecting a princess who has to take the throne. That's really all I know. The 3rd Big Sneaky Barbarian was there for $2, $3. So I went ahead and got it because I have the first one and plan to read it. This is an indie series by Seth McDuffie? Yeah, McDuffie. That has fantastic reviews. Everyone really likes it. And plus the name Big Sneaky Barbarian really cracks me up. It's Yep, it's good. All That Is Wicked by this covered up Kate Winkler Dawson, which is a Gilded Age story of murder and the race to decode the criminal mind. I've checked this out of the library 3 times, so I was extremely excited to see this at the store, so I grabbed that. Servant Mage by Kate Elliott, who I really love. Kate Elliott, I grew up reading some of her work, and I have been reading her novellas recently, and this one has just not been one that I've gotten to, so I'm very happy to get to this. And this edition is in like almost new condition, and it was $6.50. This was like the best birthday. It was just a trip out to a used bookstore, and I think we only spent like $35, so I was pleased. And then I got the second and third in the Song of the Shattered Sands series by Bradley P. Bulio. I know there's ways to pronounce that online, and I will try to look that up when I read these. But this is the second book, The Blood Upon the Sand. These covers, I don't know if it's focusing in for you to see, are stunning. All of these covers are stunning. The only cover I don't like in this series is the first one, which I do need to read. And this is the third book, A Veil of Spears. So that is a big honkin' series that I want to pick up. And we are going, like I said, to our more local used bookstore this afternoon before my daughter goes to jiu-jitsu. That is it. That is everything that I have read, have gotten, and what I plan to read for next week. Again, next week's will hopefully be shorter, but I will talk to you guys then. Thanks so much for watching, and have a fantastic rest of the week. And be kind to yourself, and take care, guys.